not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
Hold on a sec. Okay, let's talk to Titus. It's a bowl. There's spit in it, reeking of tobacco. This is what I studied law for. Photos of men in overalls toting guns and Union placards. You see hawthorn bushes outside.
This is where you say your bed.
A broad-shouldered man points at you with a beer can.
He's used to giving orders and having them obeyed immediately. You should not indulge him.
Detective.
The lieutenant acknowledges you with a sharp note. He's leaving it to you. Don't say anything yet.
Hey, dipshit. You hard of hearing or something? The boss man's talking to you.
Do not let their squeals disturb your serenity. These are but simple peasants, sire.
These are but simple peasants. I bet they don't even have ad block. This chatter is too inane to reach your ears. Raise your chin and gaze into the distance like a prince.
What, is he fucking kidding? This guy high or something?
The little guy looks at his mates in disbelief.
Hey, asshole, up here. We're talking to you.
We're looking for Titus Hardy.
We need to talk about the man hanged out back.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker, that one.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy smell.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there for $1 million.
He slaps his forehead.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Ask if it was them.
Scan the room.
No. I's here. You got business with my boys. You got business with me.
He understood what you were doing, taking inventory of them. Now watch the other guys fuck it up by falling out of line.
Yeah! You fuck with the Hardy boys, you fuck with Titus Hardy!
Shouts the scrawny rat-faced man, 2 teeth missing in the front.
Yes, falling out of line to please him. This is the best kind. And now this guy is going to...
Relax, Dennis. No one is fucking you yet.
Oh my god, Dennis? Says the 40-something man from the corner with a plectrum hanging from his neck.
Use it to take a dig at his friend. Floodgates open.
Yeah, Dennis, calm down. No one's fucking you, you stupid fuck.
What? What are they talking about?
Let Dennis enjoy his fucking, man. We don't mind.
You notice gang tattoos. The man must be either Mesk or Sarah Merizian.
This one knows how to keep things going. He's a hothead, but not one to be taken lightly. The last one is a bit of a black sheep.
Yeah, you're not even being fucked, Dennis.
This guy's just like a +1.
Easy, fellas. We got company. Let's see what brings the cop around.
Too late. You already got a pretty good picture of these guys. You can use this.
What can I use it for?
You could take another look at the tracks in the yard. See if they fit with the characters here. It could be incriminating.
The man hanged in the backyard. Did you do it?
The pretty boy. You guys really love talking about that pretty boy.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
My only option is, you're involved, somehow. I just don't have proof yet.
Well, maybe you should just fuck off then.
Don't worry. We are resourceful. We'll find a good topic for us to discuss.
Guess what? I have something incriminating.
Incriminating? Now that's a big boy word.
He puts his beer can now. And my only option is wait, never mind.
Well, maybe.
Don't worry.
Alright,
We are
I'm going to take
resourceful.
off now. And then he walks away. Okay. A plectrum is generally basically a general term for a guitar pick. Okay. Alright, so look at the tracks.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here.
Visual calculus. Hold on a second. Do I have anything that buffs visual calculus? No, I don't. Okay.
There are several footprints in the
Get
mud,
an exact count,
left by work
58%.
boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12. 8 pairs
Yes.
of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Where else have we seen a gang of men in work boots? That's right. The Hardy Boys in the mess
Oh, look, there's
hall of
little
Welling and Rags.
evidence cards on the ground. Go over them one by one.
1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46. Just like Titus was wearing in his booth. This is the big dick. Titus Hardy. The one with the ball cap on his head.
Interesting.
Is it? They didn't even bother to change boots. Putting them on the scene is easy. Maybe even too easy.
Continue.
2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. Either the blonde muscular guy, Glenn, or the young guy with a plectrum around his neck. 3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. The inked banger, perhaps. 4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46. Theo, the old smoker. You think you even see a tiny fleck of cigarette ash inside the print. 5.
What else?
Another standard work boot. Reinforced toes. Number 44. Same as before. Either the musician, Eugene, or the muscle-bound blonde, Glenn. 6. Light as air. Same make of boot, but number 41. Small like a rat. Shanky.
I should have gotten this earlier.
Better late than never, detective. The whole world is dark and the tracks burn in it with strange beauty.
Count the rest.
7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. The imprints are twice as deep as the others.
The fat
The
guy.
weight exceeds 200 kilograms. Fat Angus. Carrying something?
And the last one?
8. Another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole. The right sole is smoother, more worn. Curious. A missing 8th Hardy Boy.
Continue.
7 sets of tracks, right?
The
Hardy
lieutenant
Boys
has been
were
tracking
here.
your eye movements. 8, actually.
That's all? Interesting. Then one of them seems to be missing. Anything else out of the ordinary?
Continue.
Note to self. This would be a good question to ask Titus. Where's the 8th man? A leader like Titus doesn't let one of his guys out of sight easily, especially at a time like this.
Point. Light step. Number 41 shoe.
I'm guessing that's the skinny Hardy Boy. The one with his front teeth missing.
The rat-faced one?
Yes, well, he did look a bit like a rat, you're right. Do you think those prints belong to him?
Yes.
I could still be wrong, but I'm probably not.
Point. Heavy one. 200 kilogram imprint.
200? This could be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built armored man. Maybe it was a fat Hardy Boy, the one sitting in the middle.
Chat, I can't help. Hang on a sec. I want to show you guys something. For anyone who is not absolutely ancient, there is a book series that was out that, like, my dad read as a kid that was called The Hardy Boys. And there were mystery books. Kind of like Scooby-Doo. You know, like every book was just like a different mystery that these two kids would be trying to solve. And every time this guy mentions the Hardy Boys, I'm thinking like child detectives because of that.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
You're right. The fat guy from the booth was carrying the victim.
Possibly, yes.
He marked something down in his notebook.
But why?
You're thinking, why did they have to carry him?
Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or just march him up to the gallows.
Maybe the carrier wanted to impress his peers, demonstrate his physical might.
Maybe the victim wasn't conscious.
Even easier to carry on a stretcher, or between two men. Anyway, it's for future consideration. What else can you see?
Point. An aberration. One soul is smoother than the other.
Interesting. Let's name it the Old Soul. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the missing Hardy boy. Wonder who he is.
Do you have any ideas, Lieutenant?
Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer?
He regrets it the moment he says it.
Don't say anything, just nod.
I don't know why I said that. We are not looking for a drummer. We are looking for a group of dock workers.
The lieutenant clearly appreciates the chance to clear up the drummer issue himself.
Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out their right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
He doesn't seem to hear you, looking south toward the traffic jam instead. The machines are silent. The engines are all turned off.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no?
Yes, prudent.
Mm-hmm.
He writes down information in his notebook, then reverts to the tracks in the mud. How old do you think these tracks are?
A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
How do you know?
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havashol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do you think happened here?
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
So far, so good. Only one thing missing.
He looks at the tracks, face lighting up from the realization.
Of course, there were 8 tracks, but there are only 7 Hardy Boys.
Let him have his moment of joy.
There's one pair missing from the Union box. The 8th pair. I'm going to say it was our Old Soul.
So Odd Soul was present at the lynching, but isn't in the mess hall right now.
Yes. I doubt the Hardys are going to tell us who this person is. For now, it's best if we just keep our eyes open. I'm sure our investigation will eventually lead us to the Old Soul.
Alright, we've been through all of it. Okay, let's do a quick save. Can we get him down now that we're not freshly inebriated?
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below
Endurance.
is entirely dedicated to that core.
Okay, hold on. Is there anything I can equip that buffs endurance? No. Alright.
There he still is.
I feel like
looking
that's a habit
right
that I have to
through you
build, is
with his
like, when I
white
get to
eyes.
these roles,
The
is like
body below
change
is
clothes to
entirely
meet, to
dedicated
meet the roles,
to
which
that
feels stupid,
corpse
but
smell.
feels like
Emitting
what's
it
necessary.
is all it does now.
Alright, 92%. Plus 6 from having your shit compressed. Let go of your nose without throwing up.
As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's the smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it.
Do they always do that?
They do after 7 days, yes. We are deep in decomposition here.
Step closer.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The cargo belt used to fasten him to the branch above appears industrial in strength.
Inspect the boots.
The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you, out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a larger set.
These aren't just boots. They're armor?
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
What kind of armor is that exactly?
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be.
Where?
Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff.
The material looks out of place here.
It is. It's expensive.
The lieutenant draws a line in the condensation on the ceramic with his index finger.
We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics.
How much are we talking about?
For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
That's a lot, I take it.
As a wage, it's regrettably small. But for a piece of hardware, yes, that's a lot.
How could this man afford such expensive hardware?
That's for us to find out. My initial report on the area suggests he was a security guard for the harbor company. But that's just hearsay.
He's looking pretty advanced for a security guard.
I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
What happened to the rest of it?
The locals probably scavenged it. It would be odd if he had more on after 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
Maybe he was just wearing those boots and there is no rest of the armor?
No, I think he had something precious underneath the clothes. They had to remove the jeans and shirts we found to get to it. And this kind of armor is often worn under fabrics.
Nice. That makes sense.
What if they told him to strip before they hung him to demean him?
They usually hang them completely naked for that. La puta madre, the Mazda, the Besmerties and the like. This one still has his underpants.
Fucking talking about underpants.
Shut up, Kuno. Knock on the boot.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side of a porcelain cup.
Sounds fragile.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate to plate, dissipating it entirely. See?
Faint, organic lines cover the plates where they separate into smaller ones. These plates then divide into smaller plates until there are hundreds of them altogether. Like whirls of floorboards, the design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood materials, like lignum vitae and ebony perhaps.
What does this remind me of?
If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like.
Run your finger over the lines.
The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections, peaking on the right sabaton, where you notice the whorls are in the shape of a letter and number combination, E50, 100, 1000.
Point to it. It looks like there's a serial number on the right sabaton.
Good. Can you read it to me?
He tips the drawing ball point of his pen on his tongue. E50.100.1000.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. Either station can chase it for us.
Okay. Pull the boot off.
This feels dangerous. Are you sure?
No, hold on. Better not try yet.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form, ageless and synthetic.
Back off and look at the corpse.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt, his torso covered in tattoos, and extremities blotched pink and blue.
Inspect the belt.
The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding buckle ties the belt to the branch.
What kind of rope is this?
Industrial strength. The kind used for tying cargo to lorries.
Like in a circus. When the circus leaves town and they tie a black-spotted giraffe to the wall of a carry pen.
Like in a harbor?
Yes, it looks like they use whatever was on hand,
Let's not say
paying no
circus.
attention to not incriminating themselves.
How do they even get him up there?
A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around.
He points to the buckle, tying the belt to the branch above. Do they climb up using the kid's ladder? Point to the one on the side of the tree.
That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch, then pulled on the belt to close the buckle.
He makes a pulling motion. They sure wanted him to stay there. The polyester seems strong.
It's not merely polyester, it's steel reinforced. See these lines? This is where the wires run. I see rabbits for more than 20 strands. This makes getting him down much more problematic than I had assumed.
Are we assuming dock workers from the harbor did this?
The brief suggested as much, politically motivated by the ongoing strike. Did you not get a briefing?
No, they might have forgotten to brief me.
Then you should ask me the first moment we get.
Back off and look.
The cadaver hangs from the
Inspect
cargo
tattoos.
belt. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time they intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. His corpse is marked by stars.
What will mine be marked by?
Alcohol and heartbreak.
Is this a map of the night sky?
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great Century Messinian, maybe. But this seems more particular. Customized somehow.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice. The principle of this filter remains unknown to you. The thought dissipates, and you feel as though you were only half right.
I'm missing something here.
So am I.
A sudden ringing fills the air as the lieutenant pulls down the zipper of his orange jacket.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small lens appears. Some sort of camera.
Let the lieutenant work.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera.
He produces two metal-capped ampules and clicks them into place in the side of the apparatus. A thin slot shines there.
This is the first time he openly acknowledges the kid's existence.
I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
He points the camera at the corpse, peering into it. The lens needs adjusting, and then...
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper, rolling out.
In case we need it.
The lieutenant says and shakes the paper, letting it dry in the cold wind. On it, a color-perfect copy of the dead man's tattooed chest. Cool machine.
Yes. It is pretty cool, isn't it?
He slides the camera closed and tucks it away on his belt. What do we need this photo for?
It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter. To us. Someone should decipher it. We'll need to show it around.
Alright, say nothing.
Here, a souvenir.
He
Don't
hands
lose
you-
it.
He hands you the piece of rolled up photo paper, no larger than a pack of cigarettes.
The
Don't miss it.
glassy-eyed corpse looks by, his mouth mute and his skin as colorful as the chemical rainbow on the photo paper,
Alright.
teeming with opportunistic organisms.
Let's take a step back, and we will save it here and continue investigating the corpse next time.